Hey, it's Harrison from Breakthrough Couples. Today I want to talk to you about two very common parts that I see in my office among couples, and they are eggshells and short fuse. One person has a short fuse, and you know who you are, right? The other person winds up walking on eggshells, right? And why shouldn't they? It's dangerous if they don't walk on eggshells. They have to be careful of what they say, how they say. You have to be careful because you have a short fuse. So what do you do when you have eggshells and short fuse? One of you has to become aware that this is a pattern and find some courage to have a conversation with the other person when you're not in your part and they're not in their part. Now, if I'm talking to the person who has a short fuse, you want to be able to acknowledge that you have a short fuse. And sometimes it's helpful for yourself and for your partner to hear what I call an origin story. And I'll do a whole video, maybe a few videos on this one. An origin story is, where do these triggers come from? Right? How did they get installed in us? And you already can start to put the pieces together. But where did your short fuse come from? Think about it. Or if I'm talking to the person with eggshells, where do you think the other person, where do you think your partner's short fuse came from? Now, I don't want you to tell the other person where their short fuse comes from, because that will trigger their short fuse. What you want to do is confess to them where your eggshells comes from and remind them that you're walking on eggshells because of their short fuse. Now you can get them to admit that they have a short fuse by confronting them gently with your eggshells. Okay? And this elicits, usually, their goodwill when they hear about your vulnerable predicament. That's the word I like to use in a relationship. It's this predicament that I'm in when a part of me, use that word, part of me, encounters or runs into your short fuse. I get scared. You know I get scared. I hide out, I avoid you, my voice gets low, I lose my words, here's another part, tongue-tied. The tongue-tied and eggshells go together like cousins. Short fuse and snap go together like cousins. Okay? If you're with a partner who has a short fuse and a snap part, you got to keep your head down. You got to lay low, right? Because if not, it's scary. They raise their voice, and that's enough for you. Hopefully they don't raise their hands. That's another issue. But they can use strong language. They can use proximity. They can get close to you. They can get very heated with their facial expressions. And it reminds you, eggshells, it reminds you of something in the past where you didn't have too much leverage, right? Or it reminds you of what somebody did to somebody else in front of you when you were a kid, right? Now, as you probably know very well, eggshells doesn't serve you anymore in your adult relationship, right? It saved you or it served you as a kid, but it doesn't really serve you as an adult. It kind of diminishes you and it keeps you safe, sort of, but not connected with your partner anymore, right? It's an avoidance schema that used to work, right? Um, but it doesn't work anymore. But we can't just ask you to stop doing something that was installed a long time ago because it's part of your default mechanism. It's a lot easier, though, to rewire these parts if you have your partner's cooperation and collaboration. So, so hey, when you notice I'm on eggshells, can you come over to me and ask me if I'm on eggshells? Hey, when you notice I have a short fuse, can you come over to me or make a little sign? Or I used to tell people to use humor somehow, right? Humor or codes. A lot of my couples have codes and humor. And that kind of cracks this seriousness of these parts taking over. So if you can start to joke about this protective algorithm that comes over us and get to know them really well, get to know the ones that really take you and your partner out of the game. It's amazing what can start to happen. Because now you're really talking about the behind the scenes thing. And this is another thing that I'm always asking my couples to do, is to talk about your feelings first and facts second. Feelings first and facts second. F-A-C-T-S. Second. Because facts can be argued, feelings can be felt, heard, and understood. You don't want to argue about each other's feelings. You can argue like data with each other. But you don't want to argue feelings because that's how someone feels. She's on eggshells. He's got a short fuse. I mean, his anger is rising. So it's true for him, right? Just like it's true for you that you're feeling fragile and nervous right now. It can't be argued. It's true, right? So this is the beginning of a very real conversation that needs to be happening if you have a short fuse or if you have an eggshells part, right? There's a lot more you can learn. I can share with you about parts like these and how to interrupt and rewire them. If you're interested in working with me or picking up one of my courses, check me out at breakthroughcouples.com or subscribe to this video channel and look forward to more videos like this on Connection.